September 23rd, 24th. Why is everyone talking about it? We discussed this about a month ago, but we're going to go a little bit more in depth in why this date is important. Now, do I believe that anyone knows the date or time or hour that quote-unquote Israel in the end times really get kicked off and started out? No, I don't. But I do believe we can learn something from these dates and find the reasoning behind it and why it's important. Now, again, I state I do not believe that anyone knows that time. But I do believe we are seeing the starts of perilous times even worse. Just this week, not only at Charlie Kirk's funeral, there's been a player that was detained from doing something he shouldn't have been doing, trying to cause violence. There was a congressman that had 5 threats on him just this week. There was a Supreme Court Justice, Kavanaugh, that someone was busted trying to hurt him and his family. ABC affiliate had shots fired. RFK, there was someone trying to hurt him and his family. We're starting to see the uptick of violence even more, and the reasoning behind it is because less civility, more anarchy, and honestly, the lack of consideration for people. If that doesn't say something biblical, I don't know what would. Times are getting very, very tough. Now, we're also going to be discussing BlackRock, something that just happened with BlackRock and why it's important, because it goes along with the same thought pattern that the more they control of your life, the less you have independence, which will put you into a more perilous time of stress. We'll discuss that. And lastly, we're going to talk about, again, massive layoffs. What AI and what government is telling us, along with big players that is in AI, what they're saying about jobs. If massive layoffs are coming, we are lack of control of a lot of things because BlackRock is buying them. All of a sudden you hear about perilous end times. You see the things of chaos happening. And then lastly, you hear that Muslims are happy that Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and ones like them are speaking. I don't know if that's good. It shows that the woke right is actually causing for more problems for Israel and actually benefiting the Muslims. Wait till you hear this story. Let's dive into these stories today. A lot to talk about. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here. Now, as I told you in the intro, I do not believe that anyone knows the date or time or hour that quote unquote the rapture would take place. I do believe, as a Christian, I do believe in being called up, just like it says in Scripture. I do believe that time will come. Now, that being said, do I believe it's 3 days away? I'm not saying I believe it's 3 days away. I believe no one knows the time or hour. That's what Scripture says. I do want us to look, though, it is coalescing with the feast from the Levitical law, from the Leviticus book of the Bible. The Feast of the Trumpets, also the Day of Atonement. All those are just dates that you can go back and do your own research on. But basically, that's what's happening, and that's what they're basing it on with the moon pattern, the moon phases. Now, since its existence, there's never been a time where, in Scripture, the timing between the events of a rapture and the tribulation, the middle part of tribulation, and of course the tribulation, the Day of Atonement, all that, Scripture-based. There's never been a time where these dates coalesce closer and right on to the feast and the time of Scripture than ever before. There's only been 6 other times. So 7th is a perfect number. That's what they're going on. Also, the fact that it has never happened, it hasn't happened any time before 1948, which is when they were established. This is also dealing with numbers. Numbers is a big deal to the Jewish population, also to Christians and the Bible. So you're starting to see a lot of these numbers line up. Now, why do I bring all this up? Why does it matter? I don't believe that we know the time. I've said that now, I think 4 times in this video, because I do want you to understand that I'm not trying to prophesy. I'm not trying to be this biblical scholar. I'm just a normal guy from Mississippi who loves Jesus and loves his family. Now, I will say this. We are facing perilous times. Now, here's a difference. The more our earth keeps on going, we do believe, Bible, that things will get worse. We don't believe things will get better. We do believe there's times of revival and great awakenings. I'm hoping for that now because we need it. I have children coming up in this world, so I worry about them. But let's just talk just in the last 48 hours, what's taken place. The last 48 hours, really the last 20 to 30 hours. But let's just go through the list. And this shows we are living to a time where people are lovers of themselves, not of other people. I want you to listen to this. Breaking Edwin Guerrero has been charged with 5 first-degree felonies after threatening to take away the life of Representative Randy Fine. Now, Randy Fine, I'm not the biggest supporter of. He's a rhino, not the biggest proponent of him. However, he is a proponent of Israel. Isn't it weird how all of a sudden they've threatened him to a point where conservatives are being targeted? You don't believe this is just about him? Listen to this. This came out from Clay Travis and also Mary Margaret Olin. It says, the man who attempted to take the life of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh identifies now as someone on the LG alphabet that stands with a T. So they are deeply mentally ill, they said, and they are now wanting to be self-inflicted, but ultimately they wanted to take him out. That was Kavanaugh, another conservative. Let's keep on going. An anonymous bomb threat was called and reported at RFK Jr.'s home. Police and K-9 and bomb squads did arrive. Of course, it was found that nothing happened, but then it was all done on the speculative that they were hoping something would happen to him. Keep on going. ABC TV station struck by tons of multiple ammunition fire days after they pulled Jimmy Kimmel from the air. Again, a move to shut down conservatives, because this is not some conservatives shooting up ABC. This is against the liberal ideology. So therefore, when FCC took him off, when the affiliates took him off, because really his ratings were terrible, this gave them an excuse because of his off-putting comments about Charlie Kirk. But ultimately, again, violence. And then lastly, armed man detained at Charlie Kirk Memorial Site. An armed man claimed to be law enforcement was detained entering Arizona State Farm Stadium ahead of Charlie Kirk's memorial. Someone faking to be a policeman or security guard to get inside. Listen to this. He had at least one firearm, one knife, and inactive law enforcement credentials. This stadium is hosting a SEER Level 1 event Sunday, highest federal security rating ever, because Trump, J.D. Vance, and other top officials will attend. Secret Service have confirmed that the armed man was not part of the authorized law enforcement team, that he was trying to just get in. He was detained. Now, why was he trying to get in? Why is this a big deal? Every one of these cases deal with the fact of a liberal leftist push to hurt conservatives. Do we not see that? Now, a lot of these people that we just discussed also are supporters of Israel. Why is that a big deal? Well, because we're talking about this right now. How everyone seems to be turning on Israel. Pay attention. This is biblical. This is going to keep on happening. I want you to listen to what this Muslim just came out and said. You can go and actually look. This was shared by Aaliyah and Insurrection Barbie on Twitter. I'm telling you, go listen to him. His clip is way too long for me to share, plus it'd probably get copyrighted. But I want you to listen to this. A Muslim Brotherhood member from London explains how Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and Dave Smith, I've told you about these people, how dangerous they are. Listen, are boosting Islam's support in the U.S. and how grateful he is that they are helping Islam achieve its goals of taking over America because they're spewing of garbage and hate towards the Jewish people. Did you not hear what I just said? A Muslim terrorist group is saying they are happy of what Candace and Dave Smith and Tucker Carlson are talking about. I said this yesterday, and I don't say it went viral, it went very much viewed. And I said, I feel like Candace Owens is our Britney Spears. And what I mean by that is this. She has went so far because of her hatred towards the Jewish population in Israel and Netanyahu, that she's become wild, and people are still absolutely supporting her. I thought she was an awesome person. Now she's talking about Charlie Kirk's pastor and how he's crazy. She's not going to the funeral. She's going to go to Kanye's. I mean, this lady has lost her mind. And it's all for clicks and giggles, or if it's all for power, I don't know what it is. Tucker Carlson's about the same. Now, he's toned his down a little bit, and Dave Smith too, in the wake of Charlie passing. But they both have been very instrumental of hurting the Jewish thoughts. They'll go after someone like Ted Cruz and yell at him and scream at him, but then they'll be easy on Qatar's leader, and Iran's leader. You see how that's a double standard, and now you're actually seeing a Muslim Brotherhood person who is literally a terrorist say, thankful for these woke right individuals because they're helping our movement ultimately to take over America. You wonder if we're in the end times. We are. Is September 23rd a big deal? It could be, but to be honest with you, so could today. if you're a Christian and you're biblically based and you believe like me, again, as a Protestant Christian, to be honest with you, anytime and any day, a rapture could take place. Now, does that mean it will happen? No. Hopefully we'll have revival. And my kids will be safe in this crazy world, because this world is literally, it is going down the toilet drain. It's amazing how we have better leaders than we've ever had. And you see, even now, it's still like it's making such a division. Not because they're doing something wrong. Not because the Trump administration is doing something wrong. It's because they have no leg to stand on, because the establishment is so strong, and to be honest with you, so evil. I honestly believe, bookmark this, I believe you're going to see a movement away from Israel even more. You see how the propaganda has turned, and it's made people literally detest Israel. What we don't realize is the same people that's telling you that all the stuff is bad in Israel are the people that hate Israel. The UN and Hamas is how you're getting your reporting. Do you realize that? That's how you're getting your reporting. That's how Candace Owens, Dave Smith, Tucker Carlson, all these people and all these journalists are getting their information from the reporting, and also their biases, which absolutely stands against Israel. So tell me why you want to support Hamas or the Palestinian Authority or the Muslim Brotherhood or any of those people. Because yet, I want you to hear me out, and I'm being very bold here. None of these people have went in to help Gaza at all. You do realize that, right? Muslim Brotherhood they have more money, and the Palestinian Authority have more money, and even Hamas have more money to help the Gazans and the Palestinians to get out of there and to get to safety in any other Muslim country, but they choose not to because they are a pawn to be used to harm Israel. This is all biblical, guys. So why do I bring this up? Because it has absolutely nothing to do with just September 23rd. It has to do with the fact that Israel in the end times are important. And that area, no matter if you like it or not, no matter if you don't want to be in that area is going to be prominent in our future for the foreseeable future as long as we're here. Doesn't make it right. Wish we could have peace. But I'm sorry, guys. You're not going to have peace. You're not. And if you go back in history, if you go back in not biblical history, but just history in general, it's Israel's land. But no one wants to admit to that. And they'll listen to the UN and terror groups to tell them what they should believe. It's amazing to me. When the Muslim Brotherhood tells you that they're happy that Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Dave Smith and people like that and Ian Carroll, all these people have platforms, to be honest with you, the reason they have platforms is because they're probably paying for it to make sure that it gets out there and it's destroying the Christian and the Jews and the Republican movement as a whole. The conservative movement is getting splintered more than ever. Unbelievable. Now I want to go to two other stories right quick. This is from Wall Street Mavs, and he was sharing a Kakashi poll. It says, think about your job. Is it safe from becoming obsolete to AI? I want you to pay attention now. What job do you do? And most blue-collar jobs, not factory jobs, most blue-collar jobs, plumbing, electrical, building, contractor, a lot of those jobs will be safe. But what about jobs in a factory? What about tech jobs? What about white-collar jobs? What about lawyers, doctors? What about engineers? Is your jobs safe from AI? If it's not, you better start finding another career. And I'm being serious. Or start working on a side hustle that can help you. Listen to this. Think about your kids in high school and college right now. Are you telling them to go to things that matter and what they want to study and learn? Or are you telling them that basically their careers will be obsolete? That's what I've told every one of my children. I'm trying to teach them things that could further their life without having to worry about AI taking over their jobs, because that's what we're going to see. This is from Kashi. It says layoffs, massive layoffs will take place. Listen to these numbers. It's scary. 41% of companies intend to lay off employees due to AI in the next 5 years. That's almost half of America. Half of American companies are saying that they're going to be laying off people within the next 5 years. Meanwhile, Jerome Powell says that the job market is no longer strong and the U.S. unemployment for ages 16 to 24 is reaching over 10%. I believe that because people are coming out of degrees with an art major in art education. They're coming out of school and getting information on how Beyonce has been a legacy. They're coming out of school and they're wondering why that Taylor Swift class didn't help them. They're coming out of school with $100,000 worth of debt to have some kind of marketing degree that they have no idea how to use. They're coming out of school and they're trying to be an engineer, and engineers used to be a big job, but now AI is taking a lot of those jobs. So sometimes we have to say, okay, let me be smart here. Let me help guide my children here. We don't need to go in debt to learn how Taylor Swift or Beyonce got big, because that's what classes are offered, and they're hundreds of dollars for each of those classes for your child to take them for 8 or 9 weeks. Is that not stupid? And they're packed full. It's lunacy. So yes, people are losing their jobs. It's said that the overwhelming, okay, so let's think here for a second. Back in COVID, back in 2020, I think the unemployment rate toppled around 10 to 12 to 15% at one time, and it caused for pandemonium. They're saying AI within the next 5 to 10 years could take around 35 to 40% of the now workforce. Now, a lot of opportunists are saying, well, hey, that doesn't matter. It'll take 30 to 40% of these jobs, but ultimately there'll be more jobs at that time because AI is making all these new jobs. You'll be innovative with it, and all of a sudden the economy will boom. I hope they're right. I actually think it's the opposite. I believe that you're going to see more jobs taken and more people then dependent on the government. Isn't that what they want? Dependency of you on the government? That's what student loans are. That's what Social Security is. That's what Medicare is. That's what Medicare for All is. That's what Medicaid is. That's what SNAP is. It's all about government control of you. Hadn't we been worried about BlackRock? You know, it's been buying all the equities. Do you realize it's over your retirements, over your Social Security, over everything, pension plans? They've pretty much owned the market. Listen to this. This is a new story that's just been breaking. It says BlackRock is no longer just an investment in stocks. They're beginning to buy critical infrastructure in America. Who else is buying critical infrastructure in America? China. BlackRock is trying to buy Minnesota Power, which provides power to over 150,000 people. They want to profit off the soaring electrical demands in AI data centers. If they win, they will not only be extremely profitable and more power, they will be in control of your utilities and power. This is like the Panama Canal move here. They're becoming so big that they will be over every part of your life. And if they say, we don't want you to thrive in this aspect, we want you to believe this way, remember, Larry Fink just took over the World Economic Forum. Remember, he's the one that said just a few years ago, if we can't get these businesses to think like us, we will bend them to think like us. Meaning we'll have so much control that we can turn them to believing like us because we can put that much pressure on them. Well, now they're buying power plants, AI data centers, energy sectors. They own the biggest trade route in the Western Hemisphere, if not in the world, the Panama Canal now. It says if we look at North Michigan, there is a utility called Upper Peninsula Power. This has been acquired by private equity firm in 2014. UPCO's customers have not been able to see a lower in their rates. It's been spiking unbelievable. The more we allow these companies, like private equity, especially BlackRock, to buy, the less affordable life will ever be. What did you say? You're not going to go for digital ID? You would never do that? Dr. Andrew Kaufman. Recently, Vietnam imposed a requirement for digital ID, including biometric scans for everyone, in order to even have a bank account. And what they did, when people did not want to do it, they seized their assets. 86 million bank accounts were closed. You know how you will never have any power and dependency will happen? And how we talk about perilous end times? I don't think you should be just saying, hey, so the 23rd is a big deal, we're all getting raptured out of here. Here's what I think you should see. The push against Israel, the push for things to happen are happening. The tougher times are here, so that's why you prepare. The fact that now you're seeing conservatives targeted each and every day. I just told you in the last 48 hours, 5 to 6 situations that were absolutely against conservatism with no repercussions other than, hey, we'll arrest this guy, we'll do this, we'll slap him on the wrist, and I'll put him back on the streets. We're to a point where then that's already a big issue. And on top of that, you're telling me that we got to believe like the government wants? No, I'd never do that. Well, if all of a sudden they take your job, they take your money, they take your power, they take every aspect of your life and make you be on a system, or they're going to seize your bank accounts and close them, do not believe this won't happen. This was an initiative of the World Economic Forum. And guess who now is over it? Larry Fink. And guess who now just bought this big power companies and the Panama Canal? It's Larry Fink and BlackRock. Don't miss out that this all is going together for perilous times. Unless we have a reawakening or another great awakening or a great revival, we are seeing the starts of end times. That's the truth. Hard times are coming, so are you prepared for them? Here's what I love what this minister said the other day. He said, every day I'll look to the skies to hopefully say Jesus is coming back. He said, but every day I'm still planting trees that's going to be here for 50 to 100 years. Every day I'm contributing into my retirement account every day because I know one day my kids will need it. Every day I'm making sure I'm putting up a little bit for my grandchildren and buying them little trinkets so they can have as legacy as they get older. He said, so I prepare to see the coming of God and Jesus. He said, but I'm also aware that perilous times may come and I've got to be ready for them. That's the most brilliant and wisest way to look at it. When I'm a prepper, that doesn't mean I don't trust God. That means I trust God more because he told Joseph to prepare. He showed him to prepare. Times in Scripture where we have to realize that God is God. And our little finite brains can't understand everything that's going on. But what we can do is follow the Bible and understand that what we're seeing is true fulfillment of prophecy in Scripture. Is it the 23rd? Probably not, since it's been named. But it does have a lot of likeness because you have now Israel trying to spread their wings and actually go for the land that they've been held down to not get. They've also reportedly slaughtered the red heifer. They've also talked about having the third temple built. What brings in, quote unquote, the end times is more peril. Muslims believe that. Jews believe that. And Christians also believe that. Whew, it's a big deal. Pay attention to these stories. Don't get hung up on a date. Get hung up on your Christianity and your faith. And have faith and know that it's going to be okay. Keep prepping. Keep serving Christ. And be wise and have common sense. Pay attention to these stories dealing with your finances, AI, and BlackRock. Big deals. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless.
Be free, be free, be free.